Let's Build Your Landing Page, timestamps below, along with some other helpful videos to building out the rest of your funnel. So if you already know the basics of landing pages, here's the timestamps where we jump straight into MailerLite and start building out the page. Now, the key to success with a landing page is making sure that there's only one thing people can do when they come to the page, and that is enter their contact information in exchange for a lead magnet. Now, if you don't already have a lead magnet or you're not quite sure what that is, I'll link up in the cards in the description to a full-blown video with 9 different lead magnet ideas that could most likely work for your business, niche, or industry. Now, the way that we're going to make sure that our landing page actually converts is by using a proven framework and not getting too carried away with the design of the landing page. So we're going to use something called the AIDA framework. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. And simple little pages like these that just include a headline, some bullet points, and an image of the lead magnet, a quick place to enter their contact information, and a self-quote, which we'll get to when we start building out the page, is all you need to be successful with your landing page building. Now, as of right now, there are 3 free landing page builders I recommend you use, either ConvertKit, Aweber, or my personal favorite, MailerLite. Now, the downside of MailerLite is you do already have to have a business presence, and there is an application process for their free plan. The upside, though, is you're going to be able to send automated emails on their free plan, something you can't do with ConvertKit. So let's go ahead, jump into my screen, and I'll show you how to build a landing page using MailerLite. And if you decide to upgrade in the future using the link in the description, we do receive a commission as a way to help support this channel and content. So I'm inside of MailerLite right now, and to build our AIDA framework-based landing page, we're going to click on Sites and then click on Create Landing Page, or create a landing page. And then we'll go ahead and give it a name. Of course, you're probably going to be more creative than that. And then we will click on Save and Continue. And then on the next page, we're going to need to select the list we want, or group we want people to be added to. So when someone enters their contact information on your landing page, we need to tell the autoresponder where to put them. Where do we put this new name and email that we got? And so that's what we're doing here. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom and select a demo here so we don't accidentally have people going in a real sequence. But you want to create a 5 to 7 email sequence that someone gets the lead magnet, and then you possibly make an affiliate offer or talk about some of your products or services. I'll link them in the cards and the description to a full-blown email marketing video that goes through the strategy we use. Now, there are a lot of templates here, and I recommend pretty much skipping all of them. And this is true for whatever landing, almost, I should say every, but for the 3 landing page builders that we've talked about so far, ConvertKit, MailerLite, and Aweber, you pretty much just are better off starting from scratch. Now, an asterisk here is if you use ConvertKit, you pretty much have no choice with editing landing pages, which is why it's last on my list when it comes to free page builders. Although, hopefully in the future, they actually give us a full-fledged page builder like everybody else. I'm sure they're working on it. And we'll wait for MailerLite again. Why are you so slow? Take forever. Please load now. All right, there we go. And of course you can scroll down the page, see all of the elements, and you can click on the success page up here. And this is the pop-up that shows when someone successfully enters their contact information. And I call it a pop-up because there's no URL. So if you know anything about conversion tracking, you're scratching your head already as to why on earth I would suggest using this software. We'll get to that later. So let's go ahead and remove everything. So we'll go ahead and remove content blocks here. And we'll just click on remove. And yes, they want us to type it in all caps so they know we're dead serious. And then we want to add our blocks. So this is an example of the landing page that we will be building. And simple pages like these have done phenomenally well for us as an agency and even for funnels selling digital products. So you definitely don't have to be super fancy because your landing page copy and of course your offer is going to be the driving force of the success of your page. And we'll get to what to test and how to improve. So first, we're going to click and drag over some text. Then we are going to drag some more text. Come on. And we'll drag a third thing of text here. Now, when you're building a page, you're only going to need 2. I'm just going to show you all 3 for example purposes. And then we need to collect some contact information. So we will come on down here to Forms. and we want to select a sign up form. That's different than a contact form. A contact form is where you just want people to send you messages. This, we want someone to join our email list. Now after this, we're going to go ahead and grab another content block where we have an image and some content. And then we're going to have one final text here where we have our legal disclaimer. And of course, since I'm not a lawyer, I'm in no way, shape, or form giving you legal advice, just saying that a lot of other landing pages and some of the advertising platforms out there do require you to have some links and information at the bottom. So you should probably check that out for whatever your business is and where you are advertising. Google and Facebook definitely like having stuff down here. So now that we have all of these elements, we're actually going to want to put some stuff on our page. And I recommend do all of your copywriting before you build the page. The good news is you're watching this video, you already know that you're going to need 3 bullet points, a headline, and then a self quote. So go ahead and write that out before you go to the landing page. So I will also link up in the description to our sales funnel organizer. It's a simple template that we use when we're building our funnels and funnels for our clients. And it includes some headline formulas, formatting, and also helps you with your email sequences and figuring out your ideal customer avatar as well. So link in the description to that. So to save us some time, I've gone ahead and already filled out my funnel organizer here. And I'm just going to copy my pre-headline and I'll drop it in right here. So I'll go ahead and copy and paste all of the content so then I can go ahead and start playing with the formatting. And in the middle of copying and pasting, I realized that I did forget an element. So I'm going to quickly click here and get a image plus content again because I need a place to put the bullet points. So now let's go ahead and continue copying and pasting our bullet points. And just like that, we have all of the text that we need. So I'll go ahead and put the funnel organizer away for now. And then we'll go ahead and start formatting because obviously this looks pretty terrible. Now for what we can do before we start any of the formatting is unselect all of the elements here. We can click on settings and we can change our background color, our heading. Now I recommend only coming in here and changing the text to whatever text that you want to use. Let's just go with this one for now. And then I'll go ahead and click on save and you'll see all the text changed. I only recommend doing the text globally. Everything else you should do individually. And then I'm just going to make sure that the background is in fact white. So we'll go ahead and change that. Save, and that will get rid of that weird bar that we had at the bottom. So we'll go ahead and start with our pre-headline here. Our pre-headline, we're going to change the color text to a gray. It's already italicized, which is good. And then we can come in here and change the font size. Let's say we want to drop it down to 12 since it's a pre-headline. Now, what something is confusing with MailerLite is when you are editing an element like this, you'll have some basic options for the text. But if we unselect it, and then we click the pencil icon instead, then on the right-hand side, we're going to get more options on text. And so if I wanted to, I could come in here, click on text, and from here, I could change the font size as well. But you'll notice I keep clicking and nothing's happening. And that's because when you highlight and change the text size here, it overwrites whatever you try here. So I'm going to click remove font size. Now the font size that I was messing with over here works. It's confusing. I don't know why they do that, but I'm sure there's some good reason. But let's go ahead and change this back to, what was it, 16? Probably 14. I think it was 14. You know, I don't know. I'm too busy trying to remember where to click next. So, and then we'll change the font color back to the gray that we want. So that does it for our headline or pre-headline. And then of course we want to remove the bottom spacing because we don't want so much space in between these two elements. Because it's the element at the top of the page, I'll go ahead and leave the spacing alone for now. So now let's fix our headline because it needs to be centered and bold and a heck of a lot bigger. Oh, click on save there. So I'll mouse over it, click on edit, and then for the text style, I'll make it a different style here. Let's say we want to go Tahoma for some reason. That looks a little too weird next to Robo, so let's just do Open Sans. Let's do 2 fonts max for the entire page. If you go, you can do 3 if you're like a creative design person, but after 3, it just kind of starts to look a little messy. So we'll change our headline color here to red because we're talking about YouTube. And then we will just bump this up way high. And I changed the font because I didn't really like how it looked so big and bold, but that's not looking all that great either. So I'll come in here now and I will select all the text and then we will align center. It's confusing. You go back and forth between the two settings. And then of course we can change the text color from here as well, although I'm not really a fan of how spaced out this is. So I can come back over here to the text and we'll change the line spacing to normal. And we'll go ahead and bold our headline and come back over here and change it to slight. So instead of the normal, I think normal looks a little too squashed. So we'll go ahead and click on slight. We'll remove the top spacing here because we want the pre-headline to be right on top of the headline. So attention, we have attention new channels, how to grow your channel without getting lots of views. So we'll go ahead and click on save here. Now we have our sub-headline. I'll start going faster because hopefully this makes sense in terms of how to format all of this. So I'll go ahead and select all, we'll align center, we'll change the font to gray again, and then the font size, we'll go ahead and change it to 16. Oh, it's already 16, so we'll change it to 18. There we go. And then we will need to change the spacing again. So we'll go ahead and click the edit icon here, and we'll remove a lot of that top spacing so it comes right underneath channel. And then we'll remove bottom spacing here. I said channel, even though channel's not on the first line. And once I've removed the bottom spacing, you'll notice that there's still a lot of space here. And that's because we need to come back to the headline element and change the bottom spacing so we don't have so much space. So let's say we wanted to do that. It looks a little cramped, so let's just go 20, and I think that's good enough. We could probably go back to 30, but just showing how you can change up the spacing. So we've got our pre-headline, our headline, our sub-headline. Most of the time, you're not gonna have a pre and sub. You choose one or the other. I like pre-headlines more than sub-headlines, but it's totally up to you. So now we'll go ahead and add an image of our lead magnet. So I'll click on the edit here, we'll click on browse, and I'll scroll down to find our image, link in the cards and the description to a Canva video that walks through how to make your lead magnets in Canva, including an image similar to this one. So the next thing we need to do is edit this element. So when I click edit, we don't need buttons, we do want text, and we do want media. So obviously our bullet points here are way too small, so we'll go ahead and come into settings, and then I will come over here to text, and we'll start bumping up the text until it looks good. And 24 looks like it's nice and big, easy to read. We could also change how big the image is by clicking and dragging, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it this big so that the bullet points and the image are about the same size. Well, bullet points are too much in the face, so I'm actually going to bring them back down to closer to 20. Okay, 22 is good enough. We're probably splitting hairs at this point. So I'll go ahead and click on save there. And now it's time to edit this right here where we're collecting that email. Now, if you come over here to form, you can actually add another field. So if you want the name and the email, you can do that. Although I recommend just asking for the email. You're going to have a higher conversion rate because you're asking for less information. And unless you're doing something fancy with your email marketing, you probably don't need their name for sending emails anyway. So we'll go ahead and change the size of subscribe and email. And of course we need to change what subscribe says. So we'll just go ahead and change this to download now. And of course you can change it to redirect to another page once they enter their contact information here. So this is how you can be really good with your conversion tracking, or you can set up your conversion tracking to be on the button click. So we'll go ahead and leave the success page alone for now. Come over here to settings. The top spacing, we definitely want to bring it all the way up right below our lead magnet image here. And then we're going to go ahead and change the call to action button, because the call to action button should not be red. Red means stop, green means go. So let's make the call to action button green, and we will make the hover color a lighter green as well. So we'll go and click on that. And then for the text size, of course, you can change that as well. And that is the only way to change the size of the button. So if I click 24 or 26, you can see that the button gets really, really big in the background. Of course, that's a little obnoxious, so let's just bring it back down to 20, and I think that's good enough. And you can see now that when we hover over, you can see that it changes a lighter green color. So you can play with the colors, you can use your custom brand colors. Definitely just don't go crazy. Kind of like with the fonts where you only want 2 to 3 colors, you probably want 2 to 3 colors that you use, and the button color should be something different so the call to action is clear and stands out. So let's go ahead and change email, the input field. So if I go to form elements here, input, we're just going to bump it up a couple points here. 18 looks good. So it's nice and easy to read. It's clear that that's where they need to put their email. We'll go and click on save. And because in the settings, we've already decided that when we created this page, where people are supposed to go, MailerLite knows where to add them. In other page builders, when you click on the form element, you'll actually have settings here where you'll select where you want people to go in terms of being redirected and also what list they should be added to. Of course, we already did that in MailerLite. So home stretch here, we're almost done with our landing page. It's coming together, not gonna win any design awards, but these pages work, they really do. And part of what helps make these pages work is quoting yourself. Now, if you have testimonials, awesome. Definitely use them here in the desire part of your landing page. If you don't, like most of us, then it's totally okay to quote yourself and talk about why you think this lead magnet is going to be helpful to the person who's just hit this page. So we'll just go ahead and click on edit here, and we'll click on browse. I'll drop in a sample stock image. Obviously you drop in an image of yourself, not just a random stock image. And then we'd go ahead and we can change the size of it. Now in this particular element, I think the first thing we should do is remove these buttons. So if we come and click on settings, do not include buttons. So this element and this element are the same. We're using the same element here. And you can also change the position if you want the image to be on the right or the left. And if we click on settings, we can change the ratio of text to the image. And obviously we're going to want to keep them aligned equally. I want there to be a little more space given to the text. And unfortunately, you are going to have the situation where there's a lot of blank space between these. This is just one of the downsides of using a free page builder like this, where you're not going to have as many options when it comes to spacing, right? So there is going to be this kind of really awkward space in between these two elements. And of course we could bring this up, but then the image just becomes too overpowering. So I'll go ahead and leave it like that, click on save. And of course we'd have our legal disclaimer text at the bottom, or whatever text you prefer. Because again, I'm not giving legal advice in any way, shape, or form. So we'll go ahead and click on save and publish here. Now you can go ahead and create a custom success page. For your success page, I recommend just having something to the effect of, hey, check your email, have a picture of the lead magnet, and then tell them what email to look out for, like your email address. That's all you need to do on the success page. So I won't spend our time going through building the very similar looking page over again. So once we click save and publish, this is going to be where we can choose what our domain is going to, what our URL is going to be, excuse me. The custom domains are totally possible in MailerLite, but you have to upgrade $10 a month. And since we're trying to do this for free, we're just going to need to use their default subscribe page URL. And when you drop down, you can see that we have a custom domain here, and then we can go ahead and create a custom URL. So the good news is you can create a custom URL, but you can't have a custom domain unless you've upgraded. Go ahead and choose your favicon image. And so this is just what the little icon that shows up in someone's tab. So I'm just going to go and select this random image here. And then we have SEO settings. This is a landing page, doesn't matter. Landing pages are not gonna rank, and we don't want them to be indexed. Social share settings, this really also, it's not really important. People tend not to share landing pages. I know we want to think they do, but probably not. And then analytics and custom code. Here's where you can drop in Google Tag Manager, which is what I recommend, or go ahead and directly put in your UA code and the Facebook pixel. Now, they still say UA code. So if you're doing GA4 or the new version of Google Analytics, I recommend using Tag Manager. If that made no sense, that's totally okay. I'll link up in the description to a Tag Manager playlist. It goes through how to install all of your tracking codes. So we'll go ahead and click on save and continue. We'll just skip this step for now. now. But definitely, if you're running paid traffic, there's something should be put in there, right? And we can go ahead and copy our URL and go to it live. So I've opened up a new tab, and here is our brand new landing page live. So someone can enter their name and email, and then we can go ahead and create an automated sequence to start sending out emails. And again, with MailerLite, you can send automated sequences using their free plan. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Now, how do we improve this page? Simple. We run a split test. So if I go back over to MailerLite here, when you're using the free plan, you can't actually create a split test using MailerLite. You can use Google Optimize, which is free and a whole nother video. But if you do decide to upgrade, one of the advantages is you'll be able to split test your landing pages directly inside of MailerLite. And when it comes to split testing, you're going to want to try different headlines. Your headline is going to make the biggest difference in your landing page conversions, unless you go and make a whole nother lead magnet and split test those. So go ahead and subscribe for more deep dive marketing videos just like this one. Make sure you check out that Sales Funnel Organizer. It is an awesome tool to building out your funnel and staying organized and making sure you're using proven copywriting formulas for every step of the conversion process. And until the next, keep building the business you love.